Welcome everyone. I have two amazing guests with me here today. I have Ashley Shannon and Alyssa Bushki from the YMCA of Reading and Berks County. Welcome you guys. Thank you so much for your time and welcome to our show, Building Kids' Lives. I'm so happy to have you both.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
So let's begin by, just talking about YMCA of Reading and Berks County. I mean, YMCA has been providing its services to the communities for over 175 years?
Yeah, a long time.
Right, that is phenomenal. We only marked our 135th and celebrated our anniversary in 2019. But 175 years, that's a long time, providing services to the communities. And it is just a leading nonprofit that provides, resources and services to help empower youth, improve health and well-being, as well as inspire communities. So I'm going to begin with you, Alyssa, in terms of your role in implementing these services and providing the support to the communities. How do you work with YMCA of Reading and Berks County?
Sure. So I'm the director of operations for the association. And in my role, actually a big part of that is figuring out what the community's needs are in the three focus areas that you mentioned. So youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility are our three focus areas. And then what I do is I work with my team of branch executives at our locations, as well as the program directors and frontline staff, to come up with a way to provide a program or service that satisfies those community needs. So once that has kind of been identified and we get that program or service up and running, my role turns into more of a support role for the staff and the participants in those programs. And then the other part of that is kind of looking at the quality and the impact of those programs or services once they're up and running.
So last year, as many organizations and nonprofit like the Children's Home of Reading as well, we had to go through a lot of changes because of COVID. Well, we don't want to talk about COVID, but let's face it, we cannot turn our backs either. So I know Chore had to go through a lot of changes just to adapt digitally or, to the various needs of the society and of our clients as well. We had to adapt to the changing times. How did, the Y of Reading and Berks County kind of navigated some of the challenges that were thrown due to the COVID restrictions and isolations? Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So for us, like you said, with many of the nonprofits and for-profit businesses, really, the pandemic has been a wild ride. And I know the term pivot has been used a lot, but that's exactly what we're all doing. So during the initial shutdown, obviously our fitness and wellness services and our youth sports were closed. So that did impact both the Y and the community tremendously. As I'm sure you know, people really rely on exercise, not only for their physical health, but also for their mental health. So it was really devastating for us to not be able to keep our branches open for wellness at a time when people really needed it. We were able to offer some virtual classes during that shutdown. We had a number of people utilize that service. But in addition to what we couldn't do, I just want to make mention of two of the things that kind of stood strong for the Y and for the community from the start of the shutdown until now. And that's our transitional housing programs and our infant through school age child care services. And our downtown branch on Washington Street was one of the few child care centers that actually opened its doors to care for the children of emergency workers. So that is something that we are very proud of. Yeah, and obviously with the pandemic, we had to make a lot of changes within those programs just to make sure that we were keeping people, our staff, and the people we were serving as safe as possible. The other thing that really hit our organization hard, and I'm sure other nonprofits are dealing with this as well, was the cancellation of a lot of our fundraisers and special events. We had a polar bear plunge called March Madness that was scheduled literally a few days after the COVID shutdown in March. our Breakfast of Champions, our golf tournament, our cornhole tournament in the summer, and even some of our smaller branch fundraisers like our daddy-daughter dances, for example. So as a nonprofit, as you know, we really rely on those fundraising dollars to be able to offer our programs and services and to offer things like financial aid. So not having those opportunities has really had substantial financial impact on the Y as well.
I completely agree. And like you mentioned, we also had to cancel one of our golf tournaments, which was our biggest fundraising event of last year. So I think a lot of nonprofits and our viewers who are watching us can relate to the struggles faced by a lot of organizations and a lot of individuals. I'm really glad you brought upon the fact that exercise is very important to also kind of uplift your mental health. And I'm going to kind of steer my question to Ashely, as you know, you are the social media and marketing coordinator. How have you and your team in the in the marketing and the digital side of the organization kind of faced some of the challenges, and how were you able to provide their services into the communities through Facebook and any other social media or digital platforms?
Prior to the pandemic, we kind of communicated mostly through flyers and in-branch communications. We use social as well, but it more or less was a half and half thing. With the branches being closed, we absolutely needed to shift entirely to digital, and the needs of our community also changed. So obviously we weren't running programs and people couldn't join the gyms. So what we did, what we did do a lot of is we came out with this new thing called the Y Weekly, which was a weekly email. It started as bi-weekly, and it was basically just a way for us to not only communicate with our members and let them know, like, hey, even though we're closed, we're still thinking about you, and here's some resources and things you can do from home, which included healthy pantry recipes if people didn't feel comfortable going out to the store. Things like family activities and fitness classes we were offering on Facebook Live and through Zoom. That was also a thing we did. And we really just tried to keep it low cost, things that we could really connect on like a baseline level with our members and really just communicate strongly with.
And that's wonderful. As we are talking about mental health, I mean, it's not just the impacts were not just faced by adults, but also young adolescents and children, because they are, kind of having to live in a circumstances that they are not used to, not being able to go out to school and go out and meet with their friends and families. It's just a lot, even for a child, and we kind of do not take that into consideration. I would really like to take this opportunity to talk about that a little bit. And I know the Y of Reading and Berks County have some great resources. So there is this great initiative that the Y has offered. It's called the Youth Education Support Program, the YES program. Would you like to talk a little bit about that, Alyssa?
Sure thing. So one of the needs that was identified very early on in the pandemic, which is quite obvious given the virtual learning model, is having a safe place for school-age children to go during the virtual school day. So like you said, while many parents still had to physically go to work and didn't have the option to work from home, the Y did open up a few of our locations to really do three things. So one was to provide a safe place for kids to be while their parents were at work. Two, which is the most obvious, to assist children with their day-to-day academic needs. And then three, which is one that we kind of really don't think about, but we did see the impact of this, was to give kids the opportunity to socialize with other children, because that was something that was definitely missing in the virtual format. And then two, to engage with adult role models in person. So our programs did follow the school's virtual schedules. So we have offered the YES program at our Reading Y since the very beginning of the school year, since the Reading School District has been virtual since day one. We did start off the school year offering the YES program at our Sinking Spring location, while Conrad Weiser Area School District was virtual for the first month. We did do a few pop-up weeks at our Mifflin Y location to accommodate Governor Mifflin students. And we've been offering the YES program at our new Early Learning Center in Richmond Township to accommodate Fleetwood Area School District's hybrid schedule. We're currently in the process of getting something up and running for middle school students because that was a need that was brought to our attention from the Reading School District, and that will be held at our Reading Y location, hopefully in March. But as far as enrollment goes, any child that's virtual can enroll in any of the programs that are currently open and active. And for more information on those, you can just check out our website.
That's just great. So is this program open to the public? Can anybody enroll for the program, or do we need to be members of the Reading Y?
No, you do not need to be a member. Anyone can enroll.
Oh, that's just great, because a lot of schools, you know, in the fall are also still opting to be virtual, even though they might have some hybrid classes going here and, you know, going on here and there. But I think this is just a wonderful opportunity for a lot of parents who have to go to work and cannot afford to work from home. And while they are at work, they can feel safe that, you know, they have their kids being looked after through the programs such as the YES program. I think that's just phenomenal.
Thank you. And I'm actually someone who has sent my child to these programs. I have a kindergartner. So in addition to, you know, getting these programs up and running, I'm also firsthand seeing the benefits. And I have a little bit of flexibility to work from home, but it's really just nice to have some comfort knowing that your child's being well taken care of, they're getting their schoolwork done during the day, and they're surrounded by, you know, people at the Y.
So one of the things that we really value at Your is empowering youth. We have a lot of at-risk kids and children in our program. We have 12 different program services that helps provide mental health and behavioral health to, you know, kind of support the kids and their families throughout their recovery process, and by providing treatment. Some of these kids cannot be at home, and they need a residential setting to kind of heal and then go back to the communities. And I feel the Reading Y has very similar motives and, you know, mission oriented towards helping youth become successful in the future, help them thrive through providing opportunities. Can you talk a little bit about some of the empowerment programs that you have for youth in Reading and Berks County?
Sure. So I'm going to talk very generally about this because I feel like this is something we could probably talk about all day. But Ashely and I were literally just discussing this with a committee that we sit on. But I think something that people don't realize is how many of our staff and our program participants, our members, even our board members, have literally been involved with the YMCA in some capacity since they were children. I mean, we hear stories all the time about people who learned to swim here, who were babies in daycare here. We have people who met their spouses here at the Y, who went through our recovery programs, and now they sit on our board of directors. I mean, the list goes on, but I think most importantly, what that shows us is that no matter what you're involved in at the Y, whether it's youth sports, it's childcare, our YES program, if you are a youth member, if you're on the swim team, you're exposed to positive adult role models. You're practicing the core values of the Y, caring, honesty, respect, responsibility, and really you're learning how to be a positive part of your community. And I think the longevity of people who are involved in the YMCA is the proven success of the positive impact that we have, not only just on youth, but people of all ages. And it's really cool to see and hear those stories about how, hey, I started out in daycare here as a kid, and, you know, now I'm a lifeguard, and now I'm a board member, and, you know, now I work at the corporate office. It's just a really cool journey to follow.
Ashely, why don't you talk a little bit about what the Strong 2021 Challenge is all about?
So the Strong Challenge is actually a new thing. We are trying it out for the first time this year. Alyssa actually approached me with the idea a couple months ago. And so essentially what it is it's a free challenge. Anyone can join, don't need to be a Y member at all. And essentially what it is a 6-week challenge that is focused on kind of just resetting and rethinking the way people think about health, and really celebrating the successes and failures that come along with starting a new year and starting the new year off right. So we have a couple different themes: goals, play, move. Goals, play, move, rest, nourish, and serve. And it's really meant to remind you that health is not just eating healthy or getting moving. It has to do with your mental, your physical health, your well-being, and that it's not just centered around you as a person, but also your community. So we've done, it's a really cool, loosely structured challenge, which includes 3 main parts, which is a Motivation Monday, which is basically just an uplifting video really meant to get your mind going in the right direction for the week. Try It Tuesday, which is an interactive Zoom or Facebook Live in which people can actually try an activity centered around the week. For example, we've done active dynamic warm-ups, we've done game nights, we've done goal planning workshops, and it's really great. And then at the end of the week, we all celebrate our successes. And throughout the week, people in the group post, hey, I'm doing this, or hey, I got off track this week, but I'm really trying to get back on. Everyone wish me luck. And it's a very supportive and overwhelmingly positive community to be in.
That sounds so exciting. I mean, how do I sign up for that? Or how can our viewers, if they're interested in, all those interesting and cool challenges, who wouldn't like to begin their Monday with the Motivation Monday? I would love to watch a video and feel motivated, that will help me go throughout the week. So are you guys on Facebook regarding this challenge or this program?
So the Strong Challenge is on Facebook. It is a private Facebook group. You just have to look it up, Strong Challenge 2021, and you'll be able to join, just answer a few quick questions. Or if you're not on Facebook, but you still want to get the content, we do post the weekly content on our website under the Strong Challenge page. Fantastic.
Well, you're talking about health programs. I also know that we have another one that's called the Yes Wellness program that the Y of Reading has kind of recently started.
Yes, so the program is called Y Wellness 24/7. It is a virtual platform which contains an on-demand library of over 1,000 videos from worldwide, as well as live options. 160 plus per week from Ys from all over the Northeast area of the country, which is really fantastic. We're super excited to be part of it. It also is worth noting that it doesn't stop at fitness. There are classes on just mindfulness, healthy eating, smoking cessation classes. There's so many different types of classes you can take on the platform, and it's currently open to Y members. It's a really exciting program we're piloting.
And that is just really good to know. It just takes a holistic approach towards fitness. And, it's not just about being healthy, but it's also a way to connect to other individuals, I think. It also helps you, build that community of people who are trying to, trying to become healthy, and then, trying to create a positive outlook for themselves. I think that's a really great platform. And this is all virtual, right? So even if you are not comfortable being there in person, because I know a lot of services have been open by following mandatory COVID guidelines. But since the services offered by the Y of Reading is all virtual, I think it's more accessible and you don't have to really spend a lot of time commuting.
Yeah, so to build on that, we do, in fact, this part is all virtual. It's essentially just, right now it's only open for members of the Y. We will be launching a potential virtual only option later. We will be launching an entirely virtual option later. However, for a lot of our members, especially people who either don't feel comfortable returning to a gym option, an in-person gym right now, or who maybe aren't going to work, so maybe it's not as easy and simple to get to the Y. It's a great option for people who want to just work out from home or just to use in conjunction with their Y membership, maybe on their off days.
If anybody would like to be a member, how do they go about that?
So to become a member of the YMCA of Reading and Berks County, you would just visit one of our branches. Again, we have 5 across Berks County. So you would just visit, sign up for your membership in person, and yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. So I'm also going to put the link on our video here at the bottom so that our viewers can have access to that. Well, I mean, you guys seem so much fun and, you know, so passionate towards what you do, and you both look really good in terms of health. So I need some of your secrets on, you know, what are your to-go exercises, or are you trying on some new diets? What are your secrets? Or like, you know, yeah, we want to know.
Well, I have 3 children that keep me pretty active, so that's my only secret.
I need to stop you right there. You don't look like somebody who has 3 kids. So that's
I do, and I have a kindergartner and then 1-year-old twin boys.
wow.
So they keep me very busy. But in addition to that, to answer your question, I try and prioritize exercise as much as I can in between keeping up with them and working. But something that if you are tuned into Y Wellness 24/7 that I really enjoy since we launched that platform is the live Zumba classes and the kickboxing classes. So if you are on Y Wellness, definitely check those out.
Well, I am definitely going to check that out, and I hope all our viewers watching us will do the same. Do you have any go-to in terms of exercising or like, you know, in terms of diet?
So I'm kind of someone that needs to be tricked into exercise a little bit, if that makes sense. I don't enjoy, walking on a treadmill, but like Alyssa, I really do enjoy taking classes on Y Wellness 24/7. I also enjoy hiking, getting out for a walk with the dog, that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do, is just finding little fun ways to enjoy exercise.
Right. And it's also important that when you like set some time aside for yourself, like, you know, even if it's just 15 minutes or 20 minutes throughout the day, it kind of helps you be in shape, obviously, but also helps like, you know, get that mental like, you know, health wise, you feel very mentally active, it feels stimulated. I think because of the Y Wellness program, there are so many options that you can pick up from and choose from. I think it's a great way for people who have like one of the resolution to be healthier this year but haven't really worked on it. So I think this is a great way for them to feel encouraged and try this amazing program.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure when you have team meetings, it must be like, because it's all about empowering yourself. It's about, you know, reconnecting with the communities, giving back. So it's all about those great things that we all work towards in our professional and our personal lives. So can you both talk a little bit about, you know, the amazing vibe that you guys might have when you have these meetings about creating programs that does so good to the community?
I'll go first, Ashley. So we always say every day is exciting at the Y, and that is no lie. Actually, one thing that I really like about working at the Y is that no day ever really looks the same, right? And every year when you compare, I've been with the Y for I think almost 9 years, and every year has looked drastically different. So, but yeah, that's one of the things that I love about it. I'm personally part of our corporate team, which I feel has never been a better group of nonprofit professionals. But I also oversee our branch exec team, and they're just a young, energetic group of guys. And at our team meetings, we have a blast. My favorite part of our team meetings is our icebreakers. And I'm sure if they're watching this, they're going to be laughing because we definitely have a lot of fun doing those. And that's a team too that I think has never been better. We just have a really great group of staff right now, from the leadership side of things and the frontline things. But I think I can speak for everyone across the organization when I say this, but I think the best experiences for us are making those connections with the people we serve and getting to know them. You know, and a lot of them end up becoming our friends, right? Our members, our program participants, just building those relationships with those members and their families, and then being able to see the impact that we're having on them firsthand.
Absolutely. And you, as the director of operations, and your positive outlook, and as well as, you know, the experience that you have working with a lot of people from various walks of life, and just a lot of people within the communities. And as you mentioned, you also work with different county chapters of the Y. I think that should just put so much diversity in your, like, you know, in your work mechanisms, in terms of creating programs that kind of fits for all type of audiences.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that you said that, because a lot of times I think, like, we have 5 branches, like Ashely said, and our Adamstown branch, for example, is serving a completely different demographic than our Reading branch, for example. So in my role, it's just really cool to get across the association and meet members and program participants that, you know, are different ages, different genders, come from different backgrounds or socioeconomic statuses, religions. I mean, it's just such a diverse group of people that we serve. And it's just very cool to hear their stories and their journeys and their experiences at the Y and in their lives.
What would you like to tell our audience in terms of the Y of Reading? Why do you think it's important for them to be a member of this amazing organization? You know, I personally feel I just moved to Reading not too long ago, and just not just by talking to you, I have heard so much about the Y over the, you know, because it's been in the community for so long. Like you mentioned, you have somebody in your life who have been a part of the services. So what would you like to tell our audience?
I would just, I guess my advice would be, if you have never had any exposure to the Y, definitely stop by if you're comfortable, or just check out our website, our Facebook pages. I think at the Y, and what's really cool about the Y, is that there's something for everyone. So whether you're a college student, you're an active older adult, you're an infant and you want to, you know, take swim lessons. I mean, there's just something for everyone. And I think a lot of people don't know and understand all of the services that we offer, because there's just so much. So again, if you've never been exposed to the Y and you've never had any experience with us, definitely check us out and see where we can help.
Just had a blast talking to both of you. Thank you so much for your time. And whatever you do, it means so much to the community to create an empowered youth as well as an inspired community. I thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having us.